Okay, thank you. Okay. Um, Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Alonso and I work for Partnership Carson City. I am their Hispanic Outreach Coordinator and Community Health Worker. My camera is not working and it says it's off, but I can see myself, so I'm not really sure. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be talking about heroin. So what is heroin? Heroin is a highly addictive opiate drug derived from morphine, which is a naturally occurring substance that comes from the seed pod of a poppy plant. It is a downer or depressant that affects the brain's pleasure system and interferes with the brain's ability to recognize pain. Street heroin is rarely pure and may range from white to a dark brown powder of varying consistencies, which usually show that it has been cut or supplemented. These cuts are often sugar, starch, powdered milk, occasionally other drugs, baby powder, anything that looks white, which is added to provide as a filler. Heroin is classified as a Schedule I drug under the Controlled Substance Act of 1970 and has no acceptable medical use in the United States. So other common names on the street are China White, White Horse, Mexican Brown, Mud, Smack, H, etc. So where does it come from? It comes from Southeast Asia, so Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, and Burma. Again, in Southwest Asia now, we have Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Mexico, and Colombia. On the little map, they call this the Golden Crescent because of the way the countries are formed. It makes a crescent, and then to the right, you see the Golden Triangle, which makes up the other countries where it comes from. So how is it made? About 3 months after the poppy seeds are planted, brightly colored flowers bloom at the tips of the greenish tubular stems. So it's a pretty flower. As the petals fall away, they expose an egg-shaped seed pod. Inside the pod is an opaque, milky sap. This is opium and in its crudest form. The sap is extracted by sliding the pod vertically in parallel strokes with a special curved knife. As the sap oozes out, it turns darker and thicker, forming a brownish black gum. A farmer collects the gum with a scraping knife, bundles it into bricks, cakes, or balls, and then wraps them in simple materials such as plastic or leaves. At the refinery, the opium is mixed with lime and boiling water. On the surface, as a white band of the morphine forms, this is drawn off, reheated with ammonium, filtered, and boiled down again until it is reduced to a brown paste. So from morphine to heroin, equal quantities of morphine, anesthetic, and anhydrous are heated in a glass and enamel lined container for about 6 hours. The morphine and the acid combine to form a pure diacetyl morphine. So the water and the chloroform are added to the solution to make sure there's no impurities. The solution is drained and sodium carbonate added to make the heroin polyfly and sink. The heroin is filtered out of the sodium carbonate solution with activated charcoal and purified with alcohol. The solution is gently heated to evaporate the alcohol and leave pure heroin. So where is this? Heroin is not limited to streets and back alleys. It is found in suburbs, parties, tribal communities, Hollywood Hills, low class and upper class neighborhoods and in schools. It is in all cities of the United States, and this knows no race, gender, or religion. So how is heroin used? So heroin can be used by being snorted, smoked, and injected. So tinfoil straws, lighter spoons, needles, tie-off bands to tie off the arm for injecting, razor blades to cut up and make it finer, and then a pipe for smoking. So some of the consequences. So some short-term effects include a rush, depressed respiration, clouded mental functioning, nausea and vomiting, suppression of pain, and some long-term effects include addiction, infectious diseases such as AIDS, HIV for sharing needles, collapsed veins, abscess, and then infection of heart lining and valves. Are opioids and opiates the same? All opiates are opioids because they have the same effect by attaching to your opioid receptors in your brain, causing the same effects to the brain and the body. Therefore, you hear both terms being used interchangeably in the news and popular culture. The only difference is an opiate is derived naturally from the poppy plant. Therefore, not all opioids can be an opiate. So we'll talk about the natural versus man-made. So natural opiates are opiates that come straight from the poppy plant. This is 100% natural. So this includes your morphine, your codeine. Semi-synthetic is half natural, half man-made. So it's been a little bit fixed up. So this includes drugs like oxycodone, hydrocodone, and then your synthetic is completely man-made. There's nothing pure and natural about it. So this is where you have your drugs such as tramadol, methadone, and fentanyl. So we'll see opiates on a larger scale. They call this the 3 waves. The first wave began with increased prescribing of opiates in the 1990s, with overdose deaths involving prescription opioids increasing since at least 1999. So these opioids were the natural and semi-synthetic opioids and methadone. The second wave began in 2010 with rapid increase of overdose deaths involving heroin. The third wave began in 2013 with significant increase of overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, particularly those involved with the manufacturing of fentanyl. The market for manufacturing fentanyl continues to change and can be found in combination with heroin, counterfeit pills, and cocaine. So just some facts close to home. According to the YRBS data, 5.1% of high schoolers reported ever using heroin, and 15.5% use prescription pain medicine without a doctor's prescription. Although this is not a high number, this number is based on just high school freshmen. So just our freshman class alone, 5.1 have reported using heroin, and 15.5 have used a prescription pain medicine that was not theirs. In 2018, Nevada providers wrote 5.5 opioid prescriptions for every 100 persons, compared to the national average rate of 5.4 prescriptions. So that's a 4.1 difference. So just some headlines you may or may not have seen these in the news, but counterfeit pills containing fentanyl reported in Douglas County. This was our most recent one. This is from March 13th of 2020. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office looked into reports of counterfeit Percocet pills being sold that actually contained fentanyl. And then also Douglas County, Damani Ranch also suffered the loss of 2 students from an accidental overdose. So you have Daniel Davis, who died January 29th of 2020. He was 17, and his cause of death was an acute fentanyl and MDA intoxication. You also have Jacob Eckert, 18, who died February 3rd, 2020, and his cause of death was an acute fentanyl intoxication. We also can add the 2 gentlemen from UNR who also died from, I believe, fentanyl overdose as well. And we are just going to watch a quick, about 15-minute video. Hopefully it'll work. Oh, just kidding, we can't see that. Damn, will you switch back into it, please?
Let me see if I can do it on my end.
Okay.
Can everyone see this now?
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm gonna provide the link for the documentary in the chat. So all you have to do is just type that link in, and then you can have access to the documentary. So I can do that for you guys because I think it's kind of lagging. And then Diana, I'll give it back over to you.
All right, and yeah, that video was just the end of that presentation, so we'll go ahead and send that out for the few of you that are on. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and write them in the chat. If not, I think that kind of concludes our presentation. Thank you, everybody.